Hello, let's do a new game here. We are looking at the Gukesh, the Liren World Championship match, round number 13. So it's just one more game, and it's very exciting because this game was a draw, so it's even score. And if the last game becomes a draw, then there will be rapid playoff, which is always very exciting to watch. So let's hope for that. I didn't follow this game so much, so I'm just gonna yeah, it will be like a first for me also here. So Gukesh played the e4 again, and Liren again did a French. That's pretty interesting that he did. So French was his main weapon for sure. When he played French first game, I thought maybe he's just surprising, and then he will play e5. I think e5 is Liren's main move. But of course, Gukesh is very strong in the e4 e5 structures, as we have seen in all these many games that I have gone over. He's won a lot of nice games in e4 e5, so it was definitely a wise choice for Liren to play the French, even if French is not supposed to be very good, but it's apparently good enough for World Championship match. So here there is a new little bit of a new usual move, like main line is, as I understand it, is something like this. Is the main line. He played this in the first game also, but then he played this move here, I think, and then here something like that. But he's playing c3 now, which could transpose to what he played, but it will not. So here Liren played knight c6, a normal move, and he could still, I think, probably still play f4 here, knight f3, or maybe just knight f3, and so. But instead he played what's supposed to be a relatively new move, but it's one of the computer suggestions. So a3, it's always a useful move here in French, especially when, like, in this line, it's here, of course, a3 is the main move. Like, it's a useful move covering this square. It's a very useful full move in French generally. So it's a normal move here also, because this kind of a check could be a bit annoying. And here Liren did what he used to do, like in almost those games. He fought like for like 1 hour, so he, like, in my opinion, he wasted 1 hour. So he played like he had 1 hour against Gukesh 2 hours. He gave him such an advantage. Like, why would you waste an hour here, like in this kind of an opening position? But it works for him, but generally it's not recommended. It's a very bad practice, and but it worked out because he got a draw here. So, but still, it also shows some kind of insecurity, I think, to not to have to think so long here in the opening after this a3 move. So, and of course, because it probably analyzed, and it was always often going to be quite similar. So he played this move, and then white did this one, and here Liren probably had in his analysis that if white does bishop e3, then he can do like this move with a plan to go to c4, which was a fine maneuver in the game. But as you can see, the computer doesn't like it. The computer likes to do like he did in the first game. He played a5, a4, queen here, and then not so long, but then he went here and opened the queen side that way, which led to a fine, good position for him with a5, a4. So, but he switched it up and played this knight b6. He can go here now. So because of this is a little bit of a threat, because if black could take this bishop, then after f6 there is yeah, it looks quite fine for black then. So that's why he has to go here, so he can take this knight basically when it goes here. So then Liren decided to take, and here he did this move, which was kind of his point. And there is no real use to like wait on this, because white won't develop his bishop probably. So maybe like computer thinks maybe do some slower moves here, and when white does bishop here, then you go here maybe. But yeah, he did it at once. So take. And here Gukesh played like he got a good position here, but he played, as I see it, a bit timid. He played a little bit passive and afraid, and he had a lot of chances here, which was a little bit unusual for his style. He used to be a very uncompromising player, but he had a lot of ways to get a good position, like almost a winning position according to the computer, but he often played it probably too safe. So for example here you can see the computer likes this attacking move, and of course the reason he didn't do that is probably because he was afraid of something like this. But here, as you can see, the computer thinks he can castle here. It looks dangerous for black, but it might be probably even more dangerous for something like this. I don't know. Computer thinks this is fine, but actually I kind of like this for black. It looks nice for black. This king looks very weak, so I kind of liked his decision to not go for that line. So he did that one. That looks correct. Was also possible to go here. Right here was also possible, but he did that. Black will probably develop his bishop here, so it was good to block it with f3, as happened in the game. So black decided to do b4. That's okay, I guess. Also f6 was interesting here, to try to challenge the center at once. Computer likes that a little bit more. And here he could already try to maybe equalize the game, but it's a little bit behind in development. But computer thinks this is a fine way for black to play. So it was possible, but he did that one. Looks normal also. Bishop b5, bishop b7 is coming. And here again there was some chances for white to get an attack, because he did rook b8 here. That doesn't really look right to me, because you want to put the bishop here, so a6 looks more normal to me. But yeah, computer is a little bit afraid of this, and maybe some attacking chances here. Apparently he wants to do this kind of passive move just to be able to play like I wonder, doing this defensive maneuver here. Sorry. This looks a little bit more logical for me. Sorry. For black this looks a little bit more logical, because he never really, like rook b8, it just looks worse than a6 for me. But the computer likes white, but in the game white also could have gotten a big advantage. So this a6 looks a bit more logical to me. Let's play that one. And he did this one. And now he did this f5. So if you want to play this one, then probably you need your bishop on c8 to defend the e6 pawn. But as you can see again, computer likes this maneuver here. A bit better to not weaken the king side. And white got a winning position in the game, but he didn't play so good in the end. So but he tried f5. White took. Sometimes you don't have to take, but here it looks correct to take. So he did this one. The computer likes this maneuver a bit more. And try to open the position, and he might win a pawn here also. For example, if he takes, and again we can see it would have just been much better to have a6 instead of rook b8. So if he had done a6, white couldn't have won this pawn, but looks like black has potential for some counterplay here. There is some potential for counterplay here, but anyway, white won a pawn for he basically won a pawn, and he would have had good chances to do something here. For example, let's look at this tactical line. So here is apparently a tactical shot for black. Let's see here. So if it takes here, then he will take back and win back the knight. So has to take here, check here. This is a big threat, of course. Has to block it. This is nice. Yeah, this is a nice position here. Black has definitely some counterplay here, so it looks kind of dangerous for white in my opinion. But yeah, computer isn't so worried. But so it could have been a bit interesting if he did that, but he didn't. Instead, he decided to play queen f3, which looks a bit wrong because it just goes into two pins here. But black didn't do this one, which looked good, and I guess it's because of this tactical shot here. Try to win this pawn. Yeah, I don't know. This looks a little bit more logical for black again to try to get his bishop out here. But of course, it's always like possibility maybe to take this one here. So instead, he played here, which the computer likes more actually. He took. Queen g6 looks fine. Actually, black has gotten a relatively fine position here. It looks like the worst is over here. So f3 is like it's already against it. So maybe he didn't do bishop. White played that anyway, so maybe he didn't need to do bishop b7. Yeah, so here he played a little bit passive. Maybe it would have been better to try to start some counterplay on the queen side here, but instead he went back. And the commentators, I saw a little bit. Commentators didn't like that maneuver very much. It's understandable that he's a bit afraid of take and maybe take here, but what happened in the game, which had a big strategic risk for black, it was that this. Like what happened was that he went here, and then white for some reason got the chance to go here and take it with the bishop. And then there was some possibility for white to get a good knight against a weak bishop. It became like that, but white didn't manage to win that position. But as we can see here on the evaluation, white was he had a winning position, and this knight maneuver here was part of the problem here. So he did this now, and the tactical point here is that he can't do this one because it will be a fork here. Maybe Liren missed this knight bishop f4. Might be so that he missed it, because if he now does rook b7, then he can go here and take it. So he went here, but now yeah, he either could go back like he did, or he had to try this one. And this one would have been good because it would have prevented this this exchange here. That's good for white. And I guess he was afraid of this move. It looks like first it looks like black can win a piece here because they're overloaded, but they are not really, because he can go here. Then apparently this is the best. Apparently something, it could have apparently become something like this, but this is definitely better for black than the game. For we can also just take here, because now it's opposite colored bishops, and opposite colored bishops are famous for their drawing tendencies, even if this is a little bit unpleasant because the attack is strong with the opposite colored bishop, and white has good chances to get a good opposite colored bishop on e5, and black's bishop, when it comes to d5 for example, it's hitting into the pawn chain, but the white bishop has no pawns as opponents. Maybe he correctly understood that this would be, maybe this would have been worse for black than the game. But at least at least it would have been very hard for white to win that game, but he would have had a position where he could play for a win like forever. So you don't really want to have a position where your opponent can play and win like forever, because that's it's just not so fun. So instead he decided to go here, and now white got the chance here to exchange and get like the good knight against the bad bishop. But as you can see, the computer didn't like that. The computer thought that was a mistake actually, and that he should have played some other move, because this bishop is also great. So if you just compare this bishop to this knight, of course the bishop is better. It's just that he thinks that he wants to get this endgame with the good knight against the bad bishop, but the computer thinks he should have played something else. So let's see, for example, something like this that the computer likes. Some position like this, and now, yeah, maybe a5 wasn't correct. Maybe this was better. I don't know. But there is always tactical problems. So if you do a5, then he can go here and get a passed pawn, and if he goes with the bishop here, then I guess this is a bit of tactical problems again here with this rook here. And now again he can't take it because it will be a fork, so again he can get the passed pawn here on d6. That is strong. So here it was one position where Gukesh, he plays a safe move which looks fine strategically, but if he had gone a bit deeper into the position, he would realize that this bishop is strong, and it's hard for black to get out here, because like let's see, he do something like that. Now he can take and get a better version of the game. He gets this because white wants to play. In the game, these two pawns got exchanged, and it was a very drawish game. So white doesn't want that. He wants to get the d pawn to d6. If he gets that, then his position is almost strategically winning. So he would have done that there. And if he does something else, then later d5, d6 can often come because of this pin. So he did this one, which was a big mistake according to the computer. Yeah. And now he traded these pawns, but it would have been much better if the pawn could have gone to d6, but of course black took here. And as we can see, this game, this kind of position looks a bit better for white, but without this pawn it will be hard to win it, and it's likely that the queen side will get in the game. What happened was the queen side got traded, and then you can often not win 3 against 2, especially not if the minor pieces get traded that they got in the game. So here was a bit interesting. I've been talking, if you followed my series, Gukesh series, you know that he likes to play with the queen or against the queen. So he likes to play with 2 rooks against the queen or with the queen against 2 rooks. And here he offered this again. So black could have played here. He could have played this kind of an endgame. And this computer thinks this is fine, but it's a little bit scary tactically here for black, because queen and knight is famously strong. So there is tactical problems here. d6 is weak, so he threatens to go here. So maybe they thought like this was too dangerous, but apparently this works tactically. But it was hard to, like, very hard to understand that he that black had a draw here whereby if he goes here he can pin the queen, and if he goes here he can threaten the queen again. So it was a hard tactic to see here that this worked for black. So I think it's likely that Gukesh didn't see that possibility that black could get an immediate draw by playing like that, and Liren probably thought it's safer just to go back. But now actually white could have got like a very, very strong big advantage here if he played correctly, but he didn't here. This was like a critical moment. So black was quite short of time here. He just had a few minutes, like for 10 moves. He was very short of time here. So he didn't have time to calculate that his queen takes e1 was like it was a draw, because because this didn't work because of the threats. But of course it would have been a bit of a passive position anyway. But black here, white played this one. That was a big mistake. Instead he should have traded here and then play this. And again, this 96 would have been an extremely dangerous move to meet for black. The computer thinks this one is the best, and he would like to do this move, but it doesn't work because of this, and white is winning. For example, here, and he will win the queen here and win the game. So only way here is to play here. Then he can check. And of course he can't go here because it's smooth and mate, so he has to go here. And black is completely kind of pinned down here. So many interesting moves here, but this one I'm playing the best for both sides here. And at least white can win a pawn here. He can't take because the rook, so he has to trade queens. Something like this. It's not sure that white can win it, but I think it's likely, because he also has this bishop is bad. He has the chance to fixate the queenside pawn, so the queenside pawn on the wrong places here. If he can trade, like, he could also have checked here, and maybe could get a knight to c5. It just looks great like a winning position for white, in my opinion. So here Gukesh could have decided the match, but he was also quite short of time. Both of them have fought way too long, so they only had like maybe 5 minutes each here. And remember, they don't get any additional time per move. So there is no additional time until move 40, which is, I think, as a very bad time control, because chess players chess players can't they can't spend their time rationally, because Liren, he fought like 1 hour on move 5, and then he didn't have much time for the rest of the game. And so chess players, they're not like adults enough to spend their time in a rational way. So the clock has to be like they're not allowed to play to spend too much time. So they need to have like these 30 seconds per move in my opinion, because chess players are just bad at time management. So here Gukesh could have probably won the game if he took on e8 first. But he didn't. He played like this, and it also looks very good for white with this 96 coming, but there is tactics that makes it so that black can defend, and mainly it's like that when these rooks were traded, the black king was very, very vulnerable, but now this rook here is defending the black king, so it's much safer for black. So here it's only one move, but he can go here. And only one move again, but Ding finds, like if there is only one move that doesn't lose, it's often quite easy for these players to find it. So here, yeah, so there you can see that it's an equal game now, but yeah, white is trying a little bit here, of course. So now he managed to trade, and notice the big difference when the rook is here compared to here. If it was on b8, it would have been mate at once. So now it's safe for black, especially now when he can get some luft for his king. He does queen c5 here. So this, it's a time trouble here, and here I think he played a little bit of an interesting move here, a bit of a risky move. Black didn't go for it. He played bishop here, but there was actually a chance to win a pawn with check here for black. And then suddenly this would have been like what's called a free result game. Like now black could also have won this game, in my opinion. It's all three results were possible. White could have gotten some kind of an attack here, but this is just hit controlling the long diagonal. So actually I thought that this would have been better for black in the game, because he would have had a solid great position, and also his potential passed pawn, and also the queen is on the long diagonal, so it's on a good place here. It was actually worse to keep the queen on f4, because what happened here now, it was that white got to centralize his queen. So actually yeah, it was good for white this but it's still a draw here, especially now when he makes a quite an he makes a fine move here after the time trouble. So now they got half an hour extra, and Liren, he realizes that here he can play the move c3, and it almost makes it so it becomes almost like a draw immediately. So white obviously has to take it, because it would be dangerous if black could go to c2. So if he would have taken with the queen, black could have taken here, and then he has the possibility to win back a pawn here. So it would have become an equal game. So for example, if white goes here, then he can go here and win here. So instead, probably correct to go here. So it would have been possible to take this one. It would also have been a draw, but also something like this would be fine. So it's just not possible actually for white to keep his extra pawn. He wanted to keep an extra pawn on play like that, but yeah, because of how it was on the queen side, it wasn't possible. See, that was quite a nice tactic by Ding Liren, that he realized that he could play c3 here and like simplify the endgame here. So white tried to take like this, but now again it's equal here, and Liren just wanted a draw, so he decided to just trade queens here. And once the queens are traded, which will happen soon, then this is like this is known that this is a draw. 2 against 3 and a rook is known that there is just no chances here, because one pawn like if 2 pawns get traded, then 1 pawn is an easy draw. If the king is in front of the pawn, it's known as the like a Philidor position. It's known, so they didn't even try very much here because it's a known drawn endgame here. So it was a draw. So it's next time tomorrow. It will be the last game. That time Ding Liren has white, and will be interesting to see if he makes a winning attempt or he just settled for a short draw and the rapid play. Ding Liren might have seen what Magnus said, that he thought that Gukesh was weaker in rapid and blitzed compared to classical chess. He might. I don't know if Ding Liren has heard what Magnus said or if he thinks the same, but I'm sure he like watches Magnus what he says, like so Liren's strategy to reach the playoff has been successful here, and he also he won the playoff against Jan Nepomniachtchi when he became world champion, for example. So he has some more experience in rapid play. So yeah, it was unfortunate for Gukesh. He was playing a bit. He didn't play correct, especially here when he had a very good position here, like almost like a winning position here. But he decided to take on e7, which was not correct. He should have kept the bishop because this d5, d6 would just have been too much for black to handle. And then he got the chance again here in the end game, actually, when Liren, he missed that he could take here and get a draw. So here white again could have gotten a 1 position if he would have taken on e8 here. So it was a very interesting and exciting game, I think. So see you tomorrow.